Good morning, friends. It gives me immense pleasure to participate in this teleconferencing program being conducted by the Continuing Professional Education Committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I would like to extend greetings to all the members and students who are viewing this program on behalf of our newly elected President, CA Ved Jain, and the newly elected Vice President, Sri Uttam Prakash Agarwal. Friends, this is the first teleconferencing program being organized by the Continuing Professional Education Committee, and I'm extremely happy that we have excellent viewership across the country for this special program on bank audit. As you're all aware, bank audit is a very significant aspect of conducting bank audits across the country. We have with us a team of experts who have come across the country to talk to you on various aspects of bank audit. To my left, we have CA Abhijit Bandopadhyaya, Central Council member, who will be speaking to you on advances in prudential norms. And then we also have CA Vijay Kapoor, Director, ICAI, who will be speaking on audit planning. Then we have CA Atul Beda, Central Council member, who will be speaking to us on LFAR and Ghosh and Jilani Committee report. Then finally, we have CA Mithil Tokshi from Bombay, who will be speaking on core banking solutions as to how auditors should conduct an audit in a core banking scenario. And he will also cover on risk management. Friends, the banking industry is witnessing a revolution today. And today we find that with a lot of private sector banks also in the scenario, and that the way technology is being used extensively, today we find internet banking has become very popular. It is possible for us to bank using the internet. Extensive use of mobile phones are also being taking place with the use of mobile banking. And we also have various ATMs that have been set up by the various branches across the country. And today, each one of us could transact our banking transactions using the ATM. In this scenario, we as chartered accountants have a great role to play to see that we equip ourselves with the developments taking place in the banking industry. I have been entrusted with the task of giving you a brief overview of conducting a bank audit. I would like to schedule my presentation with about 7 steps, which I would like to inform all of you. And the first step, friends, is the acceptance of appointment. The appointment of branch auditors is generally done by the regional office. And as and when you receive a letter of appointment from the concerned regional office, what you need to do is, as the branch auditor, you have to send your acceptance letter in the format that is prescribed by the particular branch. So please keep in mind that when you send the acceptance letter, it has to be sent to the regional office. In addition to the acceptance letter, you also have to send a declaration of fidelity and secrecy to the concerned regional office. A good ethical practice would be to communicate with the previous auditor. The name and address of the previous auditor would be mentioned in the letter of allotment given to you by the bank. So I would suggest and request all of you to please communicate with the previous auditor and get a no objection from him before taking up the audit assignment. Before accepting the audit assignment, friends, you need to keep in mind 3 things. Number 1 is that there should not be any change in the constitution of your firm from the date on which you have made an empanelment with the institute. In case there's a change in the constitution of the firm, you need to inform the bank that there has been a change in the constitution. Only then you have to take up the audit assignment. Number 2, you should not have been indebted to the bank for more than 1,000 rupees. Let us say if you have taken a housing loan or a personal loan from any of the banks on which you have been allotted a branch audit, then you cannot accept the audit assignment. Number 3, you should also not hold securities in the bank having equal equity voting rights. That is, you're not supposed to have equity shares. So these 3 things you need to keep in mind before you accept the audit assignment. The second step, friends, is audit planning. It is absolutely essential for you to plan for the bank branch audit, because once a branch is allotted to you, you might have to travel to a particular location to conduct the audit. So adequate audit planning would help you to perform the audit effectively. What is very important is that, let us say you have been appointed the auditor of 2 branches. You have to prepare 2 audit files for each of the branches. And this audit file would consist of the appointment letter issued to you by the regional office. This audit file will also consist of the latest circular concerning bank audit. It will also consist of the formats of the certificate that have to be issued by you, the format of the long form audit report to be issued by you, the format of the tax audit report, and of course the format of the statutory audit report, which has to be issued by you. Please ensure that when you prepare a file, all the relevant circulars are kept by you in the file, so that it will help you to carry out the audit effectively. In addition to this, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has recently come out with a guidance note on bank audit, which I would request you to please pick up a copy of the guidance note from the Institute offices, and this would help you to conduct the audit in a most effective manner. Finally, friends, what is important is that when you plan your audit team, once you decide on the audit team, you need to send a letter of authority along with the audit team when they go for audit. Most of the cases we find that the chartered accountants are not sending the letter of authority when they send the depute audit team. So it is absolutely essential for you to specify the team, the names of the members of the team, the qualification and their signature. Their signature should be attested by you, and without which the bank managers would not permit your team to commence the audit. Since there are various important aspects to bank audit like physical verification of cash, documents, it is absolutely essential for you to prepare this letter of authority, which your team should carry it when they go for bank audit. Then coming to the third step, friend, what is important is that you need to prepare an audit program. The reason why you need to prepare an audit program is that it is possible for you to complete the audit within the given timeline. Most of the banks today are under tremendous pressure to complete the statutory audit on time. Some of the banks even declare the results on the 15th of April. So you're working on a tight deadline. Considering the fact you're working on a tight deadline, there's a need for you to have a good audit program. While deciding an audit program, you need to keep in mind the level of computerization that is existing in the particular branch in which the allotment has been made to you. You also have to see the volume of transactions in that particular branch and also the size of the particular branch. And one important thing you need to keep in mind when you're conducting the audit is that various returns would be prepared by the branch according to the closing instructions issued by the accounts department of the respective bank. You should ensure that the branch has prepared all the returns properly, and you need to validate the details filled up in the return by the branch, and in some of the returns you also need to attest the particular return. In addition to this, we also have to verify the balance sheet and profit and loss account, return of profit and loss account and balance sheet which has been prepared by the branch. You need to validate the balances along with the ledger accounts. Since most of the banks are computerized, you need to verify the balances in the ledger, in the computerized accounting system. Thirdly, you also have to verify all the large advances, because banks, the main portfolio of any bank is advances. It is essential for you to have a look at all the major advances given by the bank during the particular year. All advances could be housing loans, it could be personal loans, it could be term loans. You please obtain a list of all the major advances made by the particular branch in that particular year. And once you obtain this particular list, you please get into each of these documents. You have to obtain the borrower's file. You have to look into the sanction letter. You have to see the documentation, whether adequate documentation has been taken by the particular branch. For this, you can ask for the documentation manual. Most of the banks have documentation manual. You could obtain a copy of the documentation manual, and that will help you to see whether the branch has taken the right kind of documentation. In addition to this, you also have to verify the non-performing advances. This is a very important aspect in when conducting bank audit. When you're verifying the non-performing advances, it is absolutely essential for you to look into the previous inspection audit reports conducted by the Reserve Bank of India officials by the concurrent audit of the banks. This will help you to understand whether a particular advance is doing well, with any peculiar features on this advance, and this will help you to conduct a proper audit of the non-performing advances. The fourth aspect, friends, is that you need to adequately train your staff in conducting the bank audit. Considering the fact that most of us depend on our article clerks to conduct this audit, article clerks, most of them coming up from the CPT team, require additional training from each of you. So I would suggest that all the chartered accountants should conduct in-house training programs in their offices. You could have a brainstorming on the latest RBI circulars relating to IRAC norms. Then you could also discuss with the audit team about the importance of LFR. Each and every item on LFR could be discussed in the training program. The tax audit report, what is expected from the auditor when preparing the tax audit report, and ensure that the entire audit team is thoroughly prepared when they embark upon this bank audit. So this training program is very important, and I would make a special request to all the members who are viewing this program to see that training programs are conducted for the benefit of the staff members. In fact, most of the branches conducted bank audit seminars. Maybe you could also depute them for these bank audit seminars. Then coming to the next item, the fifth item, Computerized audit environment, we find that most of the banks have completely computerized their operations. Some of the banks are totally on a core banking solution mechanism. Some of them are partially computerized. So it is absolutely essential for you to have special computer-aided audit techniques to conduct audit in a computerized environment. I'm sure some members who have the knowledge of computers will be able to audit effectively in a computerized environment. The sixth aspect of conducting the bank audit is, friends, the preparation of the audit report. As the statutory branch auditor, you need to prepare the long form audit report, you have to prepare the tax audit report, and you have to also prepare the statutory branch auditor's report. What is very important, friends, is that when you are preparing these reports, you please have a discussion with the branch manager. Take all the inputs required from him to prepare the long form audit report and the tax audit report. You could also have the reference of the previous year's tax audit report and the LFR report when you're preparing the current year's LFAR and tax audit report, because many inputs that are required for you to prepare in the long form audit report has to be obtained from the bank manager or any other senior official of the bank. Please understand that the preparation of a report is a very important thing, and I would request you not to delegate it to your trainings to your staff, and it is essential that any of the partners who are in the part of the audit team should carry out this particular exercise of preparing the audit report. Finally, the seventh step is the need for maintaining adequate working papers. Friends, as you're all aware, the peer review board of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has made it very clear that chartered accountants should maintain adequate working papers. We have a peer review system in place wherein if your practice unit is selected for peer review, a peer reviewer would come to your office and verify the audit working papers that is maintained by you. And today we are in the last phase of the implementation of the peer review process. So if you are the branch auditor of a particular bank, your practice unit could be selected by the peer review board for a peer review. So considering the fact that the peer review process is very important and also the fact that quality review board is coming to force from this year by virtue of the amendment to the Chartered Accountants Act, I would make a sincere request to all the chartered accountants who are conducting the bank audit to have adequate working papers. What would the working papers imply? Working papers would have all your audit observations to be documented, the checklist and questionnaire that has been prepared for you for conducting the bank audit, then the various certificates you obtained from the branch manager, confirmation that you have taken from the branch manager should be in place, and it is absolutely essential for you to also document the audit plan so that if in a situation, if you are asked to produce the working papers, you'll be in a position to produce the working papers. And friends, there's a need for you to also keep these working papers for a considerable, maybe to 4 to 5 years, so that in case of any inquiry before before a disciplinary committee, you might have to produce these working papers that you carried out your professional duties properly. So these are some of the few suggestions which I thought I will share with all of you. And I'm sure we have eminent speakers present here who will take us through the various aspects of bank audit. And our president, CA Ved Jain, has requested me to communicate to all the members across the country that this responsibility of conducting the bank audit is a great responsibility given to us, and the Reserve Bank of India as a regulator has a great expectation from the entire profession at large. The entire society is looking upon our services in a very looking upon the quality of our services. It is absolutely essential for us to take up this assignment in a very systematic fashion, put in the best of our efforts, and see that we conduct a quality audit so that the image of the profession is taken to much greater heights. Friends, I'm sure you'll have a very happy season, bank audit season ahead in the first week of April, and I'm sure if you plan your audit well, if you plan your audit program well, you can have a very, you can have great pleasure in conducting the bank audit. I wish you good luck. I wish you for having, thank you for having given me a patient hearing.